Good day, grade 10 St. Paul. Welcome to my class. How are you today? Wow, I'm very happy to see all your handsome and beautiful faces. So, are you excited for today's discussion? Me too, I'm very excited. So, I hope that everyone had their breakfast so that we will have enough energy to participate to our activity for today. Before we will start our formal discussion, I want you to find a partner. Okay, so I think everyone has their partner. Okay, so let's start. Now, I am giving you 5 minutes to think of your favorite story and then share it to your partner using 5 sentences only. Okay, ha? Remember, share your favorite story from the beginning up to the end in just 5 sentences. Okay, so think. Okay, so your 5 minutes with your partner starts now. Okay, 5 minutes is over. And I am very happy to see that everyone is cooperating, and I can see that some of you felt so happy when sharing. So now, I will choose one of you here in the class to share his or her favorite story in just 5 sentences. Okay? So, may I call Miss Abby? Okay. Oh yeah, Little Red Riding Hood is one of my favorite stories too. Thank you for that, Miss Abby. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay, so that activity, guys, has something to do with our main topic or lesson for today. So, are you excited? I'm excited too. In just 5 sentences, we can summarize a certain story. So, yesterday we talked about the elements of the story. So, you already know, starting from the character, the plot, and etc. Today, we will discuss one of those elements in the short story. We will have a deeper or in-depth discussion about one of those elements. For today's lesson, we will tackle about elements of the plot. First and foremost, we will have a recap. Okay, what is a plot? Miss Jessa, what is plot? I mean, Miss Jessa, what is plot for you? Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause. Okay, when we talk about plot, guys, according to Miss Jessa, it is the organized sequence of the happenings of a certain story. So, as you can see, our short activity a while ago, you shared to your partner the sequence, the organized sequence of your favorite story in just 5 sentences. Okay, so that's the importance of the plot, guys. So when you have the ability to locate the main elements of the plot, so you can share it whenever you want. Or in connection to our topic, which is the elements of the plot, we will tackle this what we called plot diagram.
Plot diagram is a visual used to summarize a story. It is like a mountain and contains 5 important parts. which are the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. A plot diagram is discovered by a German playwright in 19th century named Gustav Freytag. By the way, I'm really sorry for the typographical error in the spelling of the playwright. The correct spelling of the playwright is Playwright. I'm really sorry for the spelling. But by the way, again, plot diagram is discovered by Gustav Freytag.
So now guys, we need to be thankful to the one who discovered the plot diagram, because today it is easier for us to distinguish what part of the story contains an important elements to be considered the elements of the plot. Okay, so let's go to the first element of the plot, which is the exposition. Okay, as you can see in the PowerPoint there's a meaning of the exposition. Okay, can someone read it? Miss Sheena? Okay, thank you so much, Miss Sheena. So, by the way guys, when we talk about exposition, it talks about the beginning of the story. You need to put it in your mind that if we talk about exposition, it is the beginning of the story. It is where the main characters are introduced so that we will have an idea of whom the story will rotate, or what the story is all about. So that is exposition. So from the word expose, the certain place, the setting, the character, and maybe an introduction of the conflict, or it is the way of giving us an idea of what will be the conflict of the story. So that is an exposition. Okay, you got it? Okay, silence. I think silence means yes. Next element is, everybody read it? Okay, thank you so much. Rising action. Miss Trisha, can you read the meaning of the rising action? Okay, thank you so much. When we talk about rising action, guys, we need to put it in our mind that rising action, the part of the story which is called the building of tension. So there's a certain tension there. What will happen next? Why is this happening in the story? Okay, so you got it? That's rising action, from the word rising. So there's an emotion there. There's a tension. Why this certain happening is happening in the story. Okay, you got it? Okay. So next element, we will talk about the next element. It is the climax. So the climax is located at the peak or at the highest part of the plot diagram. So why is it? Kindly read the meaning, Mr. Jorly, please. Okay, thank you so much. As what Mr. Jorly had read from our PowerPoint, we need to remember that this is the turning point of the story. This is the main, this is where the main conflict of the story happens. So this is where this is the part where the characters are struggling for problems. They are seeking for answers. Antagonists and protagonists are arguing at each other. So this is the main or the turning point where the conflict is happening. Okay, so if we compare it or giving you an example, this is the part nga si Cardo nakigpusil na gyud sa mga kontra. So that's the climax there. Okay, so let's move on to the next element. So next element, kindly read it, Miss Abby. Okay, what is it? Falling action. If we have rising action, we also have falling action. When we talk about falling action, guys, it is where calmness is the goal of the story. So it is when the characters discovered certain solution to their problems. When we talk about falling action, it is the opposite of the rising action. Okay, so got it? That's what we call falling action. Okay, so our last element, guys, is everybody read. Okay, resolution. So it is the end part of the story, how the story ended and what happened to the character in the last part of the story. So, but that's the meaning of resolution. So from the word solution, so there is the final destination of the story. That's the last element of the plot. Okay, so did you get it? The 5 elements. Questions. Now I am giving you a time, 5 minutes, to internalize all our discussion, and I am giving you also the chance to ask questions. You don't have questions, really? Mr. Jorly? Miss Sheena? Okay, to test if you really learned the discussion or the lesson for today, we will have an activity. And I hope that you will make me proud. Kaya wala man unang utana. So, I am expecting that you really learn, Charles. I can see it in your faces that you really learn. Okay, so let's test your learning about our discussion. Okay, so for our activity, I want you to get your partner, same partner with the short activity that we had a while ago. Okay, so I think everyone has their partner. For this time, I will give you photocopies of a certain story entitled Daniel and the Lion's Den. Okay, so some of you, I think, is familiar with this story. Okay, by the way, kindly disseminate the photocopies. 2 persons, 1 photocopy, okay? Okay, thank you so much. I think everybody is ready. So now, I am giving you enough time to read, understand, and locate the elements of the story entitled Daniel's Den. So the story is quite short. You can work. I hope that everyone must cooperate, collaborate with their partner so that you can have the best answer. Okay, so as you can see in the PowerPoint, this is what you are going to do. In the first part, you need to provide your own meaning of each element of the plot. Okay, your own meaning. When I say own meaning, it comes from your knowledge, or it does not came from the dictionary itself. Okay? And then the second part of our activity is to provide the certain, part of the story which the elements are present. Okay? Now I want you to put this activity in one whole yellow paper. Okay? So do it with your partner and do it silently. So your 15 minutes starts now. So now guys, sit properly again. Your 15 minutes is over. Okay, and I already collected all your papers and output. Okay, so at this moment, I want to congratulate you all, since I saw that everyone cooperates and collaborated. So that's the essence of, guys, teamwork and cooperation. So when you cooperate and do your best in collaborating to your partner, the task will seem to be easier. So no man is an island, and we need someone to solve our problem. So now it's my task to give you, since I asked you to give your own definition of the elements of the plot. This moment, I will give my own definition too, so that ayun po mag-fair, di ba? Okay. So I am giving you my own definition of the elements of the plot.
I can compare the elements of the plot to the sun. In the exposition, it is when the sun starts to rise. We can see its beautiful rays from the mountain top. In the rising action, it is when the sun starts to give us warmth that make us feel better, and the plants starts the process of photosynthesizing. In the climax, it is when the sun is very hot. This might burn our skin and it can harm our eyes. And then, the falling action is when the sun starts to hide itself again behind the mountain. And then in the resolution, this is the time when we can't see the sun because it's already night. So that's my explanation of the elements of the plot.
In the part 2 of the activity, I asked you to provide the elements of the plot. That is why I'm providing you at this moment. I will provide you the elements of the plot to check if your works are correct or not. So listen very carefully.
In the story entitled Daniel's and the Lion's Den. Exposition. A long time ago, Darius was the king of Jerusalem. He had passed a new law against praying towards Jerusalem. A rising action. In spite of this new law, Daniel continued to pray 3 times a day. There was a few men who were jealous of Daniel. The climax. The king had to punish Daniel. He was thrown into the den of lions. The mouth of the cave was then sealed with a big stone. Our falling action. God sends angel to close the mouths of the lions.
King Darius finds that Daniel is still alive, affirming that God saved him. In our resolution, King Darius happily took Daniel out of the cave and punished those wicked men who had plotted an evil plan against him.
That's the end part of our lesson and discussion for today's meeting. So, questions, further questions, clarifications? By the way, I will return all your works tomorrow and you will see your scores. Okay, next meeting. Okay, so next meeting we will have our another in-depth discussion of one of the elements of the short story again. Okay, so before I will dismiss the class, I want you to take note of this assignment.
Assignment: read any kind of story and identify the elements of the plot in it. Using the example table, write it on one whole sheet of long bond paper and the layout must be in landscape. Use this example table for your assignment.
Okay, so I'm very happy. That's it for today's meeting, guys. I hope that you learned something, okay? Thank you so much. Do not forget to do your assignment. And please take care. Bye and God bless us all.